So yeah, this is the part of the show where I flip the script really briefly and I give the guest an opportunity to ask me a question. A lot of guests have asked me about, why I started the show or what I hope to achieve with it. So I've answered that one a bunch of times already. If there's something else that you would like to ask me, now is your opportunity.
What I would ask is what I don't know how many of these you've done. I've assumed it's a few dozen, but I assume that there are some what are the overarching common themes that you were learning from speaking to these people that wear all these multiple hats? What is a pattern that you find that's emerging from these conversations?
It's really interesting because I thought that my initial idea was to literally only interview people that I knew were had their hands in all these different things. And I've interviewed a few people who I thought were more specialized. And through that, I found out, like I was saying, that quite literally everybody has other things that they do that you might never guess. And I always love finding out about those because it's just this fun little surprise. And it's like I said, wait, that's a doctor and he plays ping pong? I never would have guessed that. And that's just huh. And I've had this mixture of I'll get a lot of the same kinds of answers on certain questions, but then other questions get these really interesting, unique answers a lot. And so what I've actually tried to do with the show, as I've refined the question set over time, I've certain questions, if they get pretty much the same answer every time, I eventually will cut them because I'm hey, that's not adding anything to the show. And I try to find the questions that will get some kind of unique insight. But literally I learn something from every guest. And now that I'm trying to more actively get more diversity as well. And I'm really going to try to start getting actual more grandparents and teenagers on the show because I want to interview them as well. I don't want it to always just be people in the 30 to 40 range, which it mostly has so far. Because that's, again, it's I'll learn more the more different perspectives and experiences that I kind of draw from. Does that answer your question happily?
Yeah, it's getting there. Now I wish I wasn't so hard on grandparents, but because I do think it would be really interesting to have this conversation with somebody who's who's aged or in that advanced stage of life. So
for teenagers and grandparents, I actually am going to have different question sets because some of these questions are not going to be as applicable to a teenager and some of them are not going to be as applicable to an elder. So it has the potential to not quite create 3 shows, but it's, you are going to definitely be getting kind of a unique answer set from these different kind of generations. And I'm especially I've had a few instances now, and I'm only in my late 30s, and I've been starting to have experiences where I don't think I'm that out of touch with the youth, but
you are so out of touch.
I'm hearing things from even just early 20s people, and I'm just that's a thing now. And it's oh, so this is what my parents felt like when I was growing up. You just don't realize things are changing.
Oh, it happens so fast.
So when I start to hopefully interview teenagers soon, then I imagine that's going to be a bit of a culture shock, but at least I'll become a little bit more aware of
you'd be a little more literate in the youth culture and what they're all doing.